Hi everybody, welcome to our second episode of WTS Podcast number 2. In this episode, right, we invited Miss Violet and Miss Choon Ling as our guests. Miss Violet is a survivor of COVID. We are very excited to find out her stories on COVID and many other things, and we'll talk about how COVID and travel, what will it be like now and then post-COVID. My name is Eric. Co-host is Hui Ming.
Hello.
And we have Violet and Choon Ling on the screen right now. So Violet is at the top right-hand corner and Choon Ling is at the bottom right-hand corner. Hi, Violet.
Hello, hi Eric. Thanks for having me on the show. So, hi everybody. I'm very happy to be here today. So, my name is Violet. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Lunch actually, or maybe better known as Chief Cupid. So, from the name of my title, you know that I'm actually a matchmaker. So, I help connect singles, and help them find the love of their life. So, as Eric has mentioned, I'm actually a COVID-19 survivor. I actually came back from US sometime in mid-March, and about 2 weeks later, I was actually admitted into NCID because I was tested positive for COVID-19. But anyway, I think we can leave that later to talk a bit more about that. So, over to you, Choon Ling.
Hi, I'm Choon Ling. I'm the Group Financial Controller of Woodland Transport Group. I'm really happy to be here today, and I hope we have a good sharing today. So me and Violet, I think we are about the same age range. So I think that's where we have some conversation here today. Yeah.
Yay!
Okay. How are you guys doing right now during this COVID circuit breaker?
So actually how we came about is me and Violet, we had this virtual dinner together with some of our girlfriends. Then I suddenly thought that why not we can do this together, so to have some sharing, since we are actually sharing during our virtual dinner during this circuit breaker period. So for me, I think life has not really changed. I mean, it sounds sad yet happy, So I mean, I go to work, I come back to work with children. Sometimes I go out with my friends. So now that I don't go out with my friends, I mean, we meet online more often, we chat more. And then one good thing out of it is there's nowhere else to go, and no justification to go out is other than exercise and supermarket.
It was quite challenging to start off with, but eventually we got into a rhythm. And actually, in fact, I started to enjoy the entire process, like spending a lot of time with my kids and really helping my son and my daughter with their work, especially my daughter because she's younger. And actually, during this circuit breaker, it was really good because I get to understand her learning style more. And with this, I feel that I'm able to better help her going forward.
What was on your mind when you found out that you have the virus?
Okay, so it was okay. How I suspected that I might have COVID, right? Was one night I just woke up, so it was on the 26th morning, right? Or 25th morning. I just woke up at 2 a.m. and I felt like this very bad headache. And I mean, headache, sometimes I do get it here and there. But coupled with the headache, I actually have this chest tightness. So, I felt a bit tightness in my chest. And when I just walk a couple of steps, like in my room to, just another corner of the room to just get some water, right? I started having some difficulty in breathing, which is very unusual. I mean, it's not a situation where like I was panting or things like that, after doing exercise. It's not that feeling, but you just feel that it's not smooth. Usually, when you breathe, it's very effortless. So that was when I was like, oh my goodness, like this is scary, like, what is happening? So I decided, the next day when I woke up, to go and see my GP, who is also like my family doctor, and ask her what was happening. And then I told her all the symptoms. And at first she was still thinking like, should she write me a letter to go to get checked, because I didn't have fever, I didn't have cough, I didn't have sore throat, which are all the symptoms that like people usually look out for when they are supposed to have COVID, right? So, but after I told her like my symptoms, and I will say I'm really concerned, and the fact also like I came back from US about like by then close to 2 weeks, so she decided to write me a letter, and then I got checked in NCID. So the check in NCID was very thorough. Like they did ECG for me, they did X-ray, and then they did the like infamous nose swab. But after the test and things like that, they actually released me because they say that your X-ray looks okay, like it doesn't look like you have pneumonia or anything, right? So actually for me at that point in my mind, I was thinking like, oh, I'm okay. I think, I shouldn't have it. So I was like, already feeling, I'm good. Then they say that they will let me know, they'll give me a call within 24 hours if I'm positive, and if I'm negative, I'll receive SMS from them, within 2 days. So the next day, at 1 p.m., so I got a call. And then the lady say, oh, hi, Madam Violet, I'm calling from NCID. I'm here to share with you your results, and you are. So in my mind, right, I was already thinking that she would say, oh, and your result is negative. In my mind, that was already what I'm hearing. And then she said, oh, and your result is positive. And I was like, I couldn't believe my ear. Like I was super like stunned. I just kind of like stunned there. And then she was like, Madam Violet, are you still there? Are you okay? Yeah, so it was very surreal, it really took me a while to like come to terms with it. I mean honestly, even after that, of course I discussed with my husband, like brought the kids in, talked to them, and then like within an hour the ambulance came, and then sent me to NCID. And like even until the point like I was brought to my ward, and then I was sitting down, I was still sort of digesting and like coming to terms with like, oh my goodness, I am a COVID patient.
So do your family get tested also, or only you?
Definitely. So my husband, because like we obviously were in close contact, so he got tested, and then he was also positive. So 1.5 days later, he was also admitted to NCID. However, my children, my helper, so all of them got tested, and they were tested negative. So thank God.
Her journey about how she got it, I was, the part that she has gone to the ambulance alone, I think that is the most impactful read that I when I was reading your journal, that I was thinking, how would I feel, and what would be like if I have to climb onto the ambulance myself, I had to wave my kids goodbye, and God knows how long I'll be trapped in there. Yeah, what will happen? I think that was the the thing that triggered me off when I read.
Yeah. How do you manage that, Violet?
I think like maybe I'm like a overly optimistic person. So I remember having this conversation with a fellow COVID survivor, right? So he told me, I think he's maybe slightly older than me, but he's about like my child's age. So he told me like when he was talking to his wife and his son, like he actually, like the thought of like this could be the last time I'm seeing them, it crossed his mind. But like I say, I'm just like overly optimistic kind of person, right? Like that didn't cross my mind at all. Like I was just thinking, okay, like this is not fun, this is not good. But I have a lot of confidence in our healthcare system, like our healthcare workers. So I wasn't worried about dying, like, in that sense. But I think it's a very surreal kind of situation, because I think, you read about it in the news, you hear about it, you watch it on news, but you never think that it will happen to you, or like even people around you. So when I started sharing my story, like one of the things that I got from a lot of my friends were like, oh my goodness, it's like you are the first person I know personally who have COVID. And even a friend of mine who is a doctor, it's like, she say that she has dealt with so many cases, she's processing the tests and things like that, but she has never met someone personally. She doesn't know any of them personally. And after reading my story, it sort of like give her like a face of patient. So I think that was probably helpful for a lot of people to suddenly have that realization, like, oh my goodness, this is real, this is something that could actually happen to me or like my family members or someone that I know.
So you stay there for how many days? You stay in the isolation?
So I was in the hospital, so I was in NCID for 7 days, and then I was in the isolation facility for 6 days. So in total, 13 days.
So for you, it's quite short, right? Compared to like most of the cases.
Yes. So you brought up a good point. At first I think mine was kind of the average. midpoint, the curve was kind of like most people will get discharged, like 50% of the people will get discharged between 10 and 14 days. But what I'm seeing right now, or I have been told by the doctors or nurses, that now the period is getting longer and longer. So even though you are perfectly fine, so like for example, my husband, who was admitted 1.5 days after other than me, he has no symptoms at all. So he's like one of those people walking around, right, that no symptoms. So if not for me having tested positive, and he obviously have to get tested as well, he probably wouldn't have gone for any test by himself. So he actually ended up staying longer than me, even though he had no symptoms. So this virus is very interesting. It takes a very long time to shed away, all of it, even though you might be perfectly fine.
So throughout your entire stay of 13 days in the hospital and D resort,
Yeah.
the whole time you were feeling positive, you're not in any anxiety or depression or anything like that?
Yeah, I just decided that, I mean, since it is as it is, like what can I make out of it? Like, what is the best thing that I could make out of it? So I think again, I've been very blessed that I mean, it's a bad situation, right? Like both my husband and I were in at the same time, but I think we were blessed in the sense that we were at least in the same ward in the hospital, so we were in the same hospital room, and then when we were in D resort, we were in the same room as well. So actually, it was a very nice time for us to connect as a couple. Because like before that, like of course we're very busy with work, we run the business together, very busy with the kids, very busy with family. And even though we do spend a lot of time together, but sometimes it's not so easy to just have that couple time and just talk about things just specific to like the marriage, or even as a couple. So I mean, I utilized that time to really connect, to like reflect and make plans together. And I also connected with a lot of friends. So obviously when people all knew that I have COVID, right, like everybody started calling me, like video calls. And so like Choon Ling, you say, right, it's a great time to connect with friends. And yeah, it's I started doing a lot of planning for the business, or even embarking on like different new projects. So I was just trying to make the best out of the maybe not so good situation that I was in.
Yeah, I think the positivity in you is it's a blessing. It's the best to have,
Thank you.
the best medicine. So going forward, will you feel any fear when you go out again?
Actually, apparently, I'm not sure because the news keep changing. So, the last I heard, because, after that, there were some companies, they were doing research and things like that. So they asked if I'm open to donating my blood. So I did. And then they told me that, I have antibodies. So I'm not so concerned about going out. But at the same time, like I mean, I do not want to just be going out and about, like, because I think it's important to really stay at home and like not potentially be a carrier or anything like that. And like when the circuit breaker was first announced, so it was announced on the 3rd, if I'm not mistaken. So it was a Friday. I remember I was in D resort, like listening to the news together with like the rest of my management team, who's like working from home. And it was of course very devastating, honestly, because by then, because we run a regional business as well. So like we already have quite a number of branches that were already in a lockdown or semi-lockdown kind of situation. And like Singapore was kind of like the last bastion, which is still standing, right? And then when we heard about the lockdown, like it was very worrying. But at the same time, I totally could understand why the government made this decision, because like being a COVID patient, like, and my husband being a COVID patient with no symptoms, like I know that probably there are a lot of people like him walking around as well, and like it's difficult to actually find out who these people are. And unfortunately, the only way to contain this is really to have a circuit breaker.
So when you stay in the hospital, do they give you any treatment, or do you recover by yourself?
Okay, so for us, right, like because our symptoms are very mild, like in fact for my husband, he has no symptoms at all. So for mine, like they gave me like Panadol or like paracetamol, like, just in case, if I have fever or anything like that, or I have headache. And because they would do like all sort of different tests when you go into the hospital. So they did a blood test, and that was when the doctor realized that my hemoglobin level is very low. and they were quite shocked how low it was actually. So they arranged for blood transfusion, and after that they gave me iron pills lah. So for me, that's what I have, and for my husband, they realized that maybe he has some acid reflux or something, so they treated him for that as well. But I understand that for more serious cases, they would need to have oxygen, or they might even need to be on the ventilator. So for COVID, right? Like I mean, of course, being a patient and then a survivor, I did some research on it as well, and I realized that there are 5 different categories lah. So one is like the no symptom, like asymptomatic. Then one is mild, which is like my case. Then there's moderate. Then there's a severe, and then critical. So it really depends on what category you're at, and then the hospital will really monitor it and like see what they can do. So actually another thing that I've realized, right, is that a lot of times like we think that because you are of a certain age group, then as a result it will be mild. But I think there are a lot of different strains out there as well. So what I've realized is that there are people who is like younger than me, but they are actually having worse effects than me. So I think with that, yeah, definitely do stay home, like not just because you are young, you're in your 20s and you think you are just going to get off easy. That might not necessarily be the case.
You are in a regional business, right? So what's the safety precaution that you all took for your business after the circuit breaker was announced and before it was announced?
Actually, we did our best to adhere to definitely what is suggested by the government, or in fact whatever else we can do. So for Singapore, like once government suggested that we do split teams, so we did that. So I'm actually on the offsite team, which turned out again to be a blessing lah, because like since middle of February I've not met up with my colleagues who are client facing, or I've not even been back to my office. And then after that, of course, like circuit breaker, then we are not an essential service. So, all our associates are working from home. For other countries, so for example, like Indonesia, there isn't like a real lockdown that has been declared. But again, like just looking at the situation, and we want to make sure that our associates are safe as well. So we told them that even though there's no such requirement, like we just ask them to work from home. So for Thailand, we have split team arrangement. For Malaysia, similarly, once there's the MCO that has been announced, all our associates are working from home. For Hong Kong, there wasn't any measures that were put in place. So our associates continue as normal.
Oh, okay. So what about Woodland Transport? Maybe Choon Ling can give us some insight. What did Woodland Transport do? Because now you all are still operating, right? By the way, to the audiences, right? Our Woodland Transport is our parent group. So we will let her share with you guys what have Woodland Transport did, so that give you guys some insight too.
Ours is classified as essential services during the circuit breaker. So even as classified as essential services in our bus transportation business, there are still a quota of how many people are allowed to work, and we actually want our staff to justify when they need to come back for work. So, and given the limited quota that we are assigned to able to work, we give the priorities to only those who needs to be on the roads, the drivers, the technicians, the operations, all those, the management, the finance, the HR. As much as possible, we try to work from home. We only go back to office when we reasonably requires to, as I said. So before the circuit breaker, the same thing like what we did, we split the team, social distancing. In the office, everybody is sitting so far apart. The room seems so empty, and things like that. Yeah, so this is what we have practiced as according to the guidelines as given, as much as possible as we can. So WTS Travel, you guys should know, ours is retail business. So all retail is shut down for now. So before that, they also went to split teams, and business has been taking a hard landing with travel bans and things like that. So we have other businesses as well. Now it's also grounded, like the construction is grounded. So yeah, so we are all looking down to a countdown of how many days? 20, 27, 8, 9? No, 28?
25, I think.
25 already. I start counting already.
Still got a long way to go. But then the thing I'm curious about for both of our guests is since after COVID-19 hit, right, so safety and hygiene, right, wise, right, did it change you guys how your perception of safety and hygiene personally and in your business as well?
So I think definitely I have always in the past, like I do carry like this sanitizer around with me, but maybe I don't use it as often. So I think now definitely I'll be carrying hand sanitizer with me more all the time, and I'll be using it very frequently. And I think when it comes to like traveling, like probably I would have a lot more awareness when it comes to maybe flying, like wiping down things and things like that, because honestly until today I have no idea like how I got it, right? I mean, because it could be anywhere. It could be on an airplane, it could be like in the airport, and things like that. So I think this definitely create even higher awareness, and just having that mindfulness lah. So from the business point of view as well, like we have been doing regular disinfecting. I mean, before the circuit breaker came in lah. So even before that, we were doing like a regular monthly disinfecting to reassure our clients, and of course like going forward also even thinking social distancing, like how near or far should our consultants be sitting when they are talking to clients. So I think all of this just create a further mindfulness and awareness. Yeah.
What about Woodland Transport? And also Choon Ling, personally, for your family as well, what have you is there any changes to your safety and hygiene in terms of mindset and best practices?
I think let's start with the company. I think for the company, there is actually a change in our bus services. We actually see that the demand is still there. Is because like now in one bus in the past can ferry about 30 to 40 people. Now with the 1 meter social distancing and all this, one row only can sit 2%, only can sit 1%, all the accesses you see everywhere. So we actually need more buses and services to go around to ferry the same amount of people. So just like airfares, aeroplane next time, higher airfares is probably the new norm because of the social distancing to average out the load that we can't ferry in the past. So I think that is one impact that we'll see, and actually an additional cost of disinfecting, fumigation after each and every trip or end of the day to ensure that our children, our passengers are safe. So these are the norms that we'll be seeing. So I think we all should be prepared that all the cost of living actually will go up for a lot of things, and even construction. All these constructions, all this will come down to all of us, huh? 羊毛出在羊身上是这个 there's no free lunch in this world when we want certain things. So personally, for me, I think I always been classified 洁癖一点啊。my daughter always say that are you OCD now? So I always been quite about this sort of cleanliness. Like I go through the checkpoint, where you put your thumbprint and then make sure that to get your passport clearance. After that, I will sure clean my hands because everybody's thumbprint is there, right? So that's what I do already, even before this COVID. And I used to see this therapist, and he gave me this silver solution. Whenever I go on plane, I just spray myself, and things like that. Even before this, so I thought this whole COVID exercise just to prove that all these practices that I've been doing is validated now. And I think I'll continue. Of course, we'll continue to do. Yeah. So now everywhere in our pouch, we always have a sanitizer, I have a mask, have this and that on top of everything else.
Yeah, so for travel, right, will you still be traveling during this period, or after the COVID the circuit breaker period is over? Do you think we can still travel?
I think so long government issues that non-essential traveling is allowed, and I only travel when I feel safe. I am safe. I'm not sick. I practices all the safety precautions. Then I will do it. Yeah, because in fact I was just traveling in early February. on the night that the government announced Toscan orange, I was like freaking out. I said, should I not, you know?
So you went,
yeah, do you went?
Yep.
So how was it like going traveling during DOSCON Orange?
It was a struggle because it was actually a trip together with a group of people to attend a conference in Israel. So yeah, we all struggled, and then in the end we decided to still go ahead. We did all the precautions and everything like that as much as we can, and we are thankful that we came back very safe and none of us got sick after that. Yeah, so it's over, and then we cannot say that I should have or should not have.
I think maybe the best practices that you've been doing, keeping yourself clean, practicing all the hygienes. I think it helps a lot.
This small little bottle, it's from a big bottle of a solution, and then I always keep this. And my friend said, then I can spray even on my face, and I can even drink it. My friend said, "Is this your magic water?"
You can drink it?
Yeah.
I don't think I can drink it.
Yeah, you can drink it. It's a silver solution, so
silver. It's real silver. Oh.
Yeah, I mean it's just one of the holistic alternatives that I look into, because I am a type of person try not to take medication kind of person if possible.
But if you use this, do you still use the normal sanitizer, or this is the sanitizer?
I have one too, but I still prefer this. I still try to wash my hands and possible, and I can spray this solution into my mask, because this is what my therapist said. When you go on, even 2 years ago when he told me, say when you go on a plane, it's best to wear the mask, and you spray this water on your mask so that you keep yourself hydrated. So yeah, because the air is so dry, keep yourself hydrated, and this water actually helps you to keep the bacteria away. And then I said, okay, I will spray it. So when you breathe, it's easier as well. So this is what I did.
So when you travel on planes, you wear masks as well, like before?
Before the COVID?
I tried to, but I'm not a very big fan of it. But I spray myself all around, my children everywhere. I just keep spraying.
Okay. But then what about Violet? Like before COVID, did you did any travel?
Yeah, I did. So actually I stopped traveling for a long time. Like I traveled like in January, a short trip I think for work. I mean, like usually all my trips are for work, to Thailand, to our Thailand office, and then after that I did not travel anymore. So it was a struggle to decide whether to go to US in March. So same thing as Choon Ling lah. So I went for a conference, and because we are the organizer, so kind of struggle with it. Should we not continue, and things like that. And I mean, because our partners over there, if we kind of cancel it, like they're going to lose a lot of money as well. And at that point in US, actually, the cases were very, very low as compared to what we are having here in Singapore. But again, like Choon Ling said, there's no point thinking, what if and should have, should not have, right? So so that was what happened. I mean, even before COVID, the truth is I do travel quite a bit for work. Like I would say I average maybe about 2 to 3 trips a month. I was looking at like my miles, like how many miles I traveled last year. It was really quite crazy. So I think to answer your question, like how do I kind of see it going forward? I would say that in terms of work travel, I probably would travel much lesser, because I think what this COVID situation or circuit breaker situation has shown me is that we can operate without having to travel. I've been having a lot of meetings with my team, be it the Singapore team or even the overseas team. So I think it has shown that remote management can work. So I think by not traveling as much, my kids will be very happy because one of the things that my kids complain about all the time, it's like, mommy, you're traveling all the time. In fact, at one time when my traveling was at its worst, right? Like my son actually said to me, like, mommy, do you know that you travel every 9 days? I'm like, oh my goodness, he actually counted, right? I mean, that's like, it is really quite bad. So, I mean, this circuit breaker, another opportunity is really spending a lot of time, like not just with my husband, but also with my children. And it has been a joy, honestly. So, However, for family holidays, I think that's something that we will definitely not do without. So for us, every year we'll do at least two family holidays, like one in June and one in like November or December. And one is a small one, like a short one, like maybe less than a week, 3 or 4 days, and then the second one is usually a long one, like 10 days. So I think even with this current situation, of course, like what Choon Ling say, like, very law abiding citizen. So only when all the restrictions are lifted, like when things are like more normalized, I believe that I would still be going for family travel, because I think like family travel is very important in build memories. It's really a ritual that we do as a family before the kids grow up, and they build their own life, and even subsequently have their own children and family.
How do you guys
So-
do your family travel? Like before COVID, how many times you all did it?
For me, it's like twice a year. So usually once during the June holiday, and then another one during the year end holiday lah. So we usually go the last week of November.
What about Choon Ling?
So
For me, we travel as a big extended family with my siblings, with my parents as well. So we also try to travel every June and December, end of the year, or together as a group. But of course, in between, we may make a small trip just with my kids in the past, but not so much now, or with my friends. So as a personal trip as a friend, not a work trip as a friend. Yeah.
so do you two of you go out together? Go overseas together?
No, we have not.
Not yet, not yet.
Not yet, correct. In fact, Violet and me, how we get to know each other, because both of us are sitting on the Careers Women's Group committee under the Singapore Chinese Chamber of Commerce. So that's how we get to know each other. Yeah.
So it's been a very deep-rooted friendship really, but you all still haven't traveled together yet.
How long?
So, yeah. Our last this committee trip was in November. Actually, we went to Myanmar, so she couldn't make it. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I think I had to travel for work. If not, like I definitely would have. And it looks really fun from all the photos. So I think, like we are, like actually we were in the midst of travel, of planning the next one, right? And then before the
Yeah,
COVID
now it's,
situation came up. Yeah.
So social distancing happening, right? So even after circuit breaker, I think that a lot of airlines and travel industries, there will still be a lot of social distancing being practiced right now, even now and after that. So during these social distancing practices, does it encourage you guys to go for travel even during this period? If it does, how do you guys choose where to go?
I will go Club Med Bintan. Don't have to take the plane, then it's near. If anything happens, I can come back within 45 minutes. Club Med is always my kids' favorite destination since young. And it's also a nice place for me. We just chill, and then food is taken care of. You don't have to think about anything. It's outdoor, it's safe, under the sun. Yeah, that's what I think. Yeah. What about you, Violet?
I think that is a great suggestion, because I've never been to Club Med, and like friends have
Never?
always been. Yeah, I've never, and
You
know,
let
friends have just been.
No, every kid should Club Med before they think that it's too boring and too juvenile for them.
Oh no. Yeah, so friends just have been telling me so many great things about it, right? So I love like what you have shared is, you don't need to take the plane, it's like nearby, like everything is well taken care of. But I mean, another place that actually I have been thinking of wanting to go back, with the family, is actually Taiwan. Yeah, so I mean we have very good went with them when they are much younger, and I think maybe at that point they don't appreciate it as much yet. And I think also, like looking at how Taiwan has dealt with the situation, I think I feel quite more comfortable like visiting Taiwan. So I think definitely Taiwan could be one location that we would consider. And another one would be New Zealand. So we actually went to New Zealand end of last year, and we had a really good time. it's gorgeous. We went to North Island, which a lot of people say that actually South Island is even more beautiful. Opportunity to see New Zealand again.
Club Med, what's there to look forward to? Like, I'm just for our audiences.
Initially, right, a lot of people think that, you went to Club Med because you can dump your kids at the kids club, right? So I said, yeah, for the first time I went, I go and register my kids at the kids club, and then they went into the kids club activity for 1.5 days. Then sometimes I secretly follow them and see what are they doing, take pictures of them and things like that. After 1.5 days, their kids come and tell me, Mama, I don't want to join the kids club. So boring, so juvenile. So the end, I'm the one, I become the GO. Your Club Med, they have a thing called the GO. That means the staff of Club Med, they are the entertainer, they are everything, they eat with you, everything. So I become the GO, I want to do this, I went with them. I want to do archery, I go with them. I want to do this, I go around the whole island resort, sometimes running two places with my kids, So I came back, my mom said, how come you seem to lost weight after you come back from the resort? I'm running around the whole resort now. By 9:30, my son is so tired. He want to, after dinner, I have to bring him to the room. Then my daughter said, no, I want to party. So I leave my daughter at the bar there to let her go and party. I ask the one GO to look after her. I bring my son going back, make sure he's asleep. Then I go back to the there. Then I drink some more and party with my girl until 12 midnight. Then we all go back. I can do this for 5 full days.
So have you tried other Club Med beside the Bintan one?
Yeah, I went to Charantin, I went to Phuket, I went to Bali. So all are nice, but I think my favorite one is still Bali. The beaches are nice and it's more spacious and all this. But if you're thinking of the resort, everything is almost the same. So you save on the airfare compared to the ferry rides. Yeah. So Bintan has its own charm as well. It's smaller, but it's its own charms.
So the thing is, in Club Med, right, is it, there seems to be a lot of partying going on. Will it be hole in the pocket? Will it be a lot of things you need to pay for everything there? Yeah?
It's in the ticket, you have to pay nothing.
So it's all encompassing, right? So everything is paid for.
Whatever you pay, all your activities, your drinks, your food, and everything is paid for. The only thing I spend is in the gift shops. You can buy the t-shirts go and buy this little gift, buy that little gift.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the only time you spend money is in the souvenir shop and a ferry terminal station. You buy the kueh lapis or kueh thing.
So it's a very good choice compared to you go other resort, then they charge you for everything.
My whole family actually went and we did a comparison once. My brother said he went to another resort in Bintan, so he only paid for the ferry ticket and the hotel. Then the food, everything is a la carte. You just choose, right? But for the amount of food that we need to order and have to plan what to take, and the amount of drinks we drink throughout the entire day, I think it comes out to the same, and the quality might not be as good. So I thought, if you just want a resort holiday, then I think Club Med is a good destination. I don't go for Club Med. It's just that I'm just how much I enjoy.
No, but I think it's this is definitely the experience of a lot of people as well. So same thing. I've heard the same experience sharing from a lot of my friends, who have kids especially, because there are things for the kids to do, there are things for the adults to do, and I think even for people who are looking for maybe their first ski holiday, they are going to Club Med as well. So this is what my friend did. I can't remember. I think they went to one of the Club Meds in Japan or in Korea. Yeah, and they had a really good time because skiing is already something new. You have so many things to deal with. But with Club Med, you just basically just book everything through them. They just get everything sorted out. So I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah, I think the good thing about is when you go to other resort, end of the day after you dinner, what do you do? What do you do with the kids? Gosh, you cannot be playing board games the whole day. At daytime also play already, right? I'll be playing Monopoly and Scrabble every day, right? So then the staff of Club Med, they'll do performance for them to watch. And sometimes it's quite funny, so the kids enjoy it. And every night the Club Med will come up with a dress theme. So actually my kids are so accustomed to it. So before they go for the trip, they know what to pack. They'll ask, Mama, can you go and check what is the dress theme for next week for this resort? Then I'll go and check. Oh, then we'll pack the clothes. Today is white theme. I don't know, pirate theme. I don't know, whatever theme they have. So we just pack simple clothes to wear and go with the crowd lah. So then you must participate. Then you feel that it's fun. Some of my friends said, Plumber is not so fun. I said, why is it not so fun? Yeah, you go to this. I said, no, we didn't do this, we didn't do that. I said, why didn't you join the party? It's fun. I said, yeah. I said, sometimes you have to make yourself dress up and get into the mood. If you just still dress in your shorts and t-shirt from morning until at night, then while the rest are, are dancing, and then you don't want to take part, then it's not that fun.
I didn't know they got this dress team going on at Club Med. So if you guys enjoy like dressing up or going for like team party and then have a very all-encompassing holiday, right? Perhaps you all can consider what Choon Ling say, like going to Club Med, have everything covered and just go there, let yourself loose and enjoy yourself, right?
Yeah. I think most important is you have to participate. If you don't participate, nothing is fun. Even you stay in the best place, you don't want to participate. It's just like just talking about your dating agency. That time I was just telling a friend, I said, how you going to get a boyfriend if you every day stay at home? Nobody's going to knock on your door. You have to go out. You don't have friends to go out with. Then join a dating agency. Join a dating app. This is what I think.
Yes, you have a very good point, because like sometimes I'm singles, right? Then I ask them, so what do you do, in your free time? And I remember there was this lady, she's so cute. So she told me, she said, Violet, every Saturday, right, what I do is I stay home and wash my clothes. Then I'm like, okay. Then she said, yeah, but you must understand, Violet, I'm very busy during the weekdays. I'm working, like I come home, I have no time. So Saturday night is the perfect time for me to do my laundry. And I'm like, but like your Prince Charming or Mr. Right won't jump out of the washing machine, right? So I think you have a good point. I think in life, like we cannot just be like kind of like a observer. Like we need to be participating. It's really, in order to get something out of it, is really how much you put into it as well. So I totally agree with you.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you can like tell us like, how does lunch actually helps these single people? How can they benefit from matchmaking, going for matchmaking, and what's so fun about it?
Okay, so I would say that people who come to us usually they are serious daters lah. So I mean, of course, they won't say that, oh, I'm looking to get married tomorrow. But the truth of the matter is they are serious. Like they have the objective of settling down, like say 18 to 24 months. And so once they come to us, we'll do a profiling for them. Like we will, our consultant will have a session with them to find out a bit more about who they are, what they are looking for, and from there, like we look for suitable profiles to be matched with them. And once they become our member, so on our side, what we'll do is we'll do everything. We'll arrange the date, we'll book the restaurant, so all they have to do is to show up, like get to know each other, enjoy the date. And after that, we will also contact them again to get their feedback, to ask them, what went well, what didn't go so well, and how we can, adjust the match as well. But I think one additional thing that, we do is also we really focus on helping them to be the best version of themselves, because I think that's really important when it comes to finding the right partner. Because a lot of times when singles, they want to find the right one, in their mind they are always thinking, I've just not met the right person. I'm sure if you ask your single friends why they are single, chances are they will say, I've not met the right one. But what we have realized is meeting is just one part of it. Actually, in order to find the right one, you need to be the right one as well. So you need to be the right one, meet the right one, and choose the right one. So this is where, like, I would say, it's really our value added expertise. Like we not only just help them, like do the match, but we also, share with them what might work and what might not work. So I always tell my dating consultants, I say, you are not waitress, because no waitress is like you just take down orders, whatever the client wants to eat, you just take it down and then you just cook and then just deliver, right? But I always say to them, you're a nutritionist. So nutritionist is very different, right? It's like the client might want to do this, but you have to then share with the client, okay, this might be suitable for you, this might not be suitable for you. So I would say that's really where our expertise and our experience come in to help our client to find the right person.
Wow. I think, Eric, I think this whatever she just said, right, must be shared to all our colleagues.
I mean, if it's for all of our audiences.
I can,
She should be a nutritionist. We must feed what they think is good for them and good, right for them.
Yes.
So I'm curious, like, how does a session, lunch actually sessions, how is it like?
Do you go for lunch? I only go for lunch.
Yeah, so this is a question that we get asked a lot as well. It's like they say, okay, like since your company name is called lunch, actually, must it always be a lunch date? So the answer is no. But why we said lunch is because we feel that lunch is short, sweet, and simple, and it's like more casual and it's not so heavy. Because like if your first date is a dinner date, you might get very flustered or you get very kanchiong, right? Because like you're like, okay, what if after the appetizer comes and then I'm like, okay, maybe not, then what am I going to do? So lunch is like kind of like, sorry, I actually have another urgent meeting to rush to. So there's always like a getaway plan. But the truth is we arrange the date according to when our clients are free because it's one-to-one. So, we have done like brunch dates, breakfast dates, or even like dates, in the evening. We just don't call it dinner dates. We call it like after work drinks, like coffee date. And usually if things go well, they would continue to have dinner. But I just wanted to share, like since you guys are in the travel industry, right? So we have done some interesting things, when it comes to like working with the travel industry. So one of the things that we have done is organizing singles trip. So, everybody in the trip is actually single, and then, like it's an interesting travel destination. And when we have done this, it has been very interesting because, like they get to see each other, like, across like 3 days, 5 days. And it really helps to create that familiarity for them to get to know each other better. So every time we do a singles trip, there will at least be 1 or 2 couples who actually come out of it.
Wow.
So how many successful couples do you all have? How many success stories comes out of lunch actually?
So we have been around for 16 years now. And in the last 16 years, we have at least 3,000-4,000 success couples. These are the ones that we know of. There are ones that we don't know because they are a bit shy, or sometimes like they kind of just want to forget about it. So they will just say, "Oh, I met through friends," which I always say that technically because we have gotten so close to them, right? Yeah, technically we are friends, lah. So these are the ones that we know of. But sometimes it's very nice. Like for example, just a couple of days ago, I did a webinar, or I was on one of my friend's Facebook live shows, and someone actually messaged me after that and say that, it's like so happy to like meet you, online because like these 2 friends of mine actually met through you guys. So these are some of the ways that sometimes we find out about our success stories.
That's good. That's nice to hear.
Yeah, to me, right, personally, right, going to a dating agency, to me, it's I sometimes I will have I will feel like, do I need to go or not? Like I feel, it feels like a bit weird for me. So how do you tell people like me, like, you should try this out?
I think that's an excellent question.
Sorry, Eric, are you single?
I'm not lah, but I'm asking for. I'm just
not married yet.
Not married yet.
He asking for his single friends. He's a very caring
for
friend.
all of our audiences as well.
Yeah. So actually, that's an excellent question, and we do get asked that. And I think like one of our success client put it very nicely. So he actually said, love is love. It doesn't matter where you found it, be it at a club, at a bus stop, or at a dating agency. So I think, I think he just put it so beautifully, because I think at the end of the day, how you actually met the person, that's not the main point. It's really about finding the right person that you can spend the rest of your life with. So obviously, it's that if you have already have those opportunities for you to meet people, be it at work, be it through friends, or be it through your current social circle, that's great. I think that's good. Please continue with it. But if you're starting to see that, that your social circle is starting to shrink because, like a lot of your friends are getting married, or people around you, you already know them, for so long and nothing has happened so far, and you are looking to enlarge your your social circle or just to meet like-minded people, I think, like it's good to just keep your options open. So there are a lot of options out there. Of course, like there's Lunch Actually, which is a dating agency, but like what Choon Ling has said as well, there are a lot of dating apps out there, or even just taking a hobbies class. I think, it's important, like most importantly, like what Choon Ling has said just now, it's really about participating. It's really about making that first step. So whatever your first step might be, right? It could be joining a dating agency. It could be like even, asking friends to just introduce more people to you. I think that is the main thing, like really is the mindset. Because if your mindset is constantly like, it's like I will leave it to, like chance, like 随缘, like, a lot of people, they like to say, I just want to, if it's meant to be, it's meant to be. But at the end of the day, you need to be doing something for, God or, whatever your belief system is, right, to help you to have that opportunity as well.
So it's the main thing is to have a open mindset, and you can't just stay at home and then someone suddenly come to your house and not, hey, do you want to date me, right? So you still have to create opportunity for yourself, right?
I mean, maybe sometimes, we see this on Korean drama, or Hollywood movies, I mean, the truth is some of these cases have happened before, but I always tell people, I say, these are exceptions. These are not the norm. So do you want to just wait around for this exception that might or might not happen to you? So maybe while waiting for that, like what you have said, it's important to really take that first step and just, give yourself a chance and give others a chance as well.
So, we are a travel company, right? So my question is, does travel really help people to connect, and what is the best success? Which country or which destination you think is a place where it really helps you to connect very well with your significant others or someone that you might like? Do you suggest people like they started dating and then they just take a leap of faith and go travel straight away?
Again, very good question. So I think a few things lah. Like let's say if you are you are still single, you are looking for a partner. There are actually a lot of different tours out there lah. Like I'm not sure what are the ones right now, but I remember when I was younger, I think there was this tour called Kontiki. It's like really like for like a party, it's like people in their 20s or even like early 30s or things like that, right? And I mean, everybody know that they are there to party, and I know like couples that have come out of this. And another thing, when it comes to like attraction and falling in love, like adrenaline is really part of it. So like research have shown that you kind of put two people on like a suspension bridge, and then they are just there, and then they have a conversation there, they get to know each other there. Like the chances of them having attraction is higher compared to sitting on a table having a meal. Yeah, because like when you're on a suspension bridge, like it's scary, the adrenaline is rushing, like it does things to our brain and things like that. So this is something to think about, like when you are maybe looking for the right person. So as per your question, which I think is more about people who have been dating, and should they take like a vacation, like together, just a short stay or something like that. I would say that this is a good opportunity to know more about the other person, because obviously, even though you have been dating for a while, there are a lot of things that you might not know about the other person, like maybe the person's like personal hygienes, like the person like certain habits. And I think sometimes like you don't want to end up like finally, okay, like we are getting married, and you're like, oh my goodness, like there are so many things that I didn't know of, and I mean, I might not be able to live with. So I think, like going on couple holidays is a good chance to find out about that. Other things is also how people make decisions as well. So I think that there definitely have been cases where people go on couple holidays together and they just end up coming back different times because they realize that they really cannot stand each other, right? And then one person just like, okay, that's it, I'm like packing my bags, I'm going back. So this is a good opportunity to see how willing is both sides to compromise, like what are both sides' values, what are both sides personality, which sometimes might not show in the normal dating circumstances.
Yeah, I think it's true also. I think going abroad, right, with your girlfriend or your potential girlfriend, I think is the ultimate test of whether you guys can be together. So maybe for me, my advice is to think before you all go for trips lah. But if you all really want to build something very meaningful, I think going for a trip helps a lot. And then we do have many young audience as well. So I think couple trips and matchmaking trips. What do you all think? Do you think it's something they should consider? Like really think about it. Short trip, long trips. What do you all think?
I think definitely go with shorter trips first, like be it it's a singles trip, so even when we do singles trip, we tend to like maybe do maximum about 5-6 days, because of course if everybody get along so well, that's great. But if somehow the chemistry doesn't work, it can be quite torturing as well. Like you're traveling with a group of people, after a while you're like, oh my goodness, like must I still like be seeing them? So I think going with a short trip, I think that's good. So same thing for a couple trip, like just go with something that's like maybe 3 days 2 nights to start off with that, and kind of see how that goes. I mean, obviously, once you guys are obviously getting along very well, and subsequently to be able to look at longer trips.
Okay, maybe we can ask Choon Ling to recommend us like one trips, right? Or a short trips, a destination. I know Club Med is on top of the mind lah, but do we have another short trip options? And then maybe give us, then we can ask Violet on a 2 weeks destination. Which one is good?
We can take coach one.
Yes.
Yeah, I think trip is also a testament of, as you said, is personal hygiene for me. Like if I go on a trip and the guy, he may turn out nice and prim and proper and hygienic during a dinner date, but when he gets back home to his room, he's so messy, throwing his things everywhere, socks everywhere. I don't think I can live with this type of person. So I think it's 3 days 2 nights is good enough to see all these bad habits from surfacing. I think it's important. I think short trip wise, I think just go somewhere near like Japan or Hong Kong.
That's very far leh. That's very far.
Get WTS travel coach and go to Genting, go to Malacca. Malacca, there's a lot of things to do. Sometimes you don't have to, because if that guy is meant to be is meant to be a long-time partner, everything won't be just always 5-star hotel and luxurious. What about the times when things are bad? You can see, can we still survive through the relationship if you only have that few dollars to spend, or you eat by the roadside, or you eat simply? Will he able to take it? Or she can take it. Some of my friends said that he has dated women that cannot eat in hawker centers. So, I mean, that would be a good testament. I mean, in Singapore, you have a choice, but sometimes we go overseas, what choice do you have? Right? I mean, I ever went to 3 days 2 nights hike up in Yellow Mountain, Dongguo de Huangshan. When I reached the hotel, there's no food. No, the only food left was the white rice and a bit of vegetable sauce left over, but that's all I have to eat. If I don't eat, then I'll just starve. So I think it's a good testament to start. 我们也这样老了，不用浪费时间。Cannot 啦，don't.
No, I think relationship wise, I think there's no age matters. It's whether you all can connect and whether you all are you all match and you all can complement each other. I think that's what you all look for. I don't think how old you are and how young you are, it doesn't matter. It's about how much you all can connect and you all can be a team, like a forever team. That's how I feel that should be lah. So I think it's okay. So what about long trips? Like long trips, maybe Violet can give us a idea. I know just now Choon Ling said Japan, right? I think that one is a very long trip.
I think for long trips, it depends on both parties' interests, because I think different people they travel differently. So I think for my husband and I, like we are again like quite fortunate, like we are really the same type of traveler, and I think if some people they travel with us, they will be like quite annoyed because we are the type of traveler we like to take things very slow. So I know that there are some people like they get somewhere, right, they want to do every single thing on the list. like they have this list, they take, like all the top 10 attraction, they must make sure they cover it. So we are those type, it's like, every day we just do one thing, it's enough lah. The other rest of the day, we just, walk around, go enjoy a cup of coffee, just sit down, people watch. So we are that kind of traveler. And for us, we are actually not so much beach resort sort of people. Like, we can sit on the beach like maybe 5 minutes and then that's it. Like we cannot take it already. So I think it's important because it's 2 weeks, it's quite long, right? So it's to see what sort of traveler you are. And I think there are a lot of options. And I think like just now Choon Ling was talking about hiking, right? So one of the things that I would love to do with my husband at some point is really going for like a trekking sort of holiday. Like I think Japan, there's like very nice trails. And I think like there's one very famous one in Spain. My friend just did 2 weeks with her husband in England. So I think these are potential good things to be doing. Or of course, like both of you are like food lovers, like foodies, right? So again, I think Japan is a great option. Like 2 weeks you can cover like Tokyo, Osaka, Kyoto, and like maybe one or two more in between. So so many options. Wow, like now you really start getting me thinking about holidays already.
Japan, all these places, right? If you really have to choose one place for a 2 weeks destination, which one will you choose?
Wow. Okay, then I'll end up giving a very different answer.
Your favorite place? What is
Your favorite? Yeah, interested to find out your favorite.
I mean, it's like my favorite travel destination so far is actually Iceland.
Okay.
Wow. Very far.
Very far.
Yeah. So we went there 2 years ago. And I don't know how to explain it, but Iceland is a place like, once I landed, and then like, we just drove around, like it's just like, I just feel so much peace and calmness and like no stress. Like, I don't know, I've not gotten it in any other place right now. So for me, it's like if I have to spend 2 weeks somewhere, like, that would be my top choice right now.
Okay. So then I want to ask Choon Ling also, what's her favorite 2 weeks destination? You can only choose one.
I have no idea. I have not traveled for 2 weeks, for a long time.
So if circuit breaker ends now and COVID just disappear and you can go for 2 weeks travels, where will you go? Like a snap of a finger, where will you go? Sorry?
With your friend? With your friend or your...
I don't know who you want to go with. You can go with your family. You can go with your...
I think 2 weeks traveling with my extended family, I think we'll go mad. Every time we're through the trip, all me and my brother and my sister say, we want to go home already. We're going. Once my brother brought 3 kids to Japan for 2 weeks, he came back, he lost so much weight,
Okay, that one is just Choon Ling's brother case, right? I think some people go for 2 weeks, they put on weight as well. So we cannot just take in Chinese we call 一组看打翻一船人, right?
Imagine every day you wake up, you have to worry about 7, 8 kids, very 老的、小的、中的，哎呀，都累死But the pleasure comes from different angles, And when going through, sometimes we are going through the kids' trauma and growing up, things like that. You say, oh gosh. But you laugh at it when it's over, when you look at the photos 2 years down the road, it's all the memories that we created. I think I have to spend 2 weeks all over again. I may want to go Europe. I have not actually really traveled Europe before. So I think if I get the chance to spend 2 full weeks away, I would want to go Europe.
Okay, so you guys know, right, we do have Europe packages, so y'all can come find us as well if y'all want to go Europe. Or y'all want to go Iceland, you can find us as well. You can go Iceland as well. And if you don't know where to go, we can create a package for you as well. So this is just us, Bring Thick Skin, selling you some of our products lah. So the next thing that I like to check with y'all.
Okay, noted.
Thank you. Next thing I'll check with y'all is, okay, now it's COVID-19, but travels, there's so much desire to travel. So when all these things dies down, when COVID is still happening, but you're allowed to travel, what are some of the precautions that you think we should all take?
I think, first of all, we have to build our immunity right now. It's not like you pack all your vitamins and eat your vitamins, you bring your mask and bring your sanitizer, you'll be fine. So I think the best way to combat this COVID or any virus that will come in the future, or not even not COVID, is just to build your immunity. I think this COVID exercise whole breakdown is to teach us the lessons to take care of our own bodies. So I think right now is a good chance to relook into our diet, exercise, and then rebuild our immunity. So we don't need all this. Even the virus is there, our bodies have the antibodies to fight it. Just like Violet, she's healthy, she's positive. So I think that helps in fighting the virus very fast compared to those who are even younger but they are suffering. So I think that is the thing that I would do. Buying all the necessary things, but you have a very weak body. There's no way, even if you put on your mask, keep washing your hands, you still get sick. So that's what I will do. And of course, you're going to somewhere, make sure everything is hygiene, and that is the baseline for everybody now. So every day you hear the Channel 8 until you don't want to hear already.
So what they say, what did the Channel 8 one they always advocate? Maybe you tell us.
You watch the Channel 8 from 7 o'clock to 9 o'clock, you can memorize by then already.
What is it?
I mean,
please tell us.
Please tell us.
The hand washing, wear the mask, all the sneezing, everything. But if we have a strong body, I think all these are extra protection, but the core is here. So long we are good, I think then the world will be a much safer place.
You are saying that, okay, besides all the precaution that you must take, besides washing your hands, wearing a mask properly, and using a sanitizer when you regularly, the most important thing, the basic, is really going back to basic and staying healthy, eat healthily, do exercise, build up your body. So when things happens, we hope that things don't happen, but sometimes things still happen. But at least your basic is there, your immunity is strong, so still give you a chance to fight it off, and we don't need to rely on any external measure, external helps.
I think we cannot avoid getting sick, because there's no way we can avoid. It's just like Violet's husband. She has no symptom at all. I could have been having a chat with, or he'll be telling me something. He can be the air crew. We have no idea that he's sick. But if he has a virus and I'm weak, I will get it and I will get very ill. But if I get it, I'm strong, I will recover very fast. It's no big deal. I mean, we all get sick through our lives.
Yeah. So, guys, remember. So I think this is very important. Like staying healthy, keeping yourself healthy, even when you are staying at home right now. You can still go downstairs and take a walk or do a jog. Of course, you have to oblige by the circuit breaker rules, running solo or walking solo. But I think it's still the main thing is to keep your body active and at the same time build up your eat healthily so you can build up your immunity. Correct. So what about Violet? What do you think? What's your opinion?
I think Choon Ling have given all the points that I wanted to say. So honestly, I have nothing else to add on. I totally agree with her, because I think we cannot control whether we get the virus or not, because it's just so virulent. It's everywhere. We don't know who has it, who might not have it. So of course, we should still do all the precaution. Like the washing hands, wearing masks, wiping down, things like that. We should still do all of this, but more importantly, since you can't really control whether you will get it or not, then most importantly is really to build up a very strong immune system and be healthy.
Yeah, so the most important thing is, although you can't control, but you can still make effort. Don't go to crowded places and still build yourself up, right?
Hey, so much about us. What about both of you?
So you mean like for
what extra precaution or measures they will do as this is from a perspective of two very cancer women, mothers. YouTube, because maybe two of us are older, so we are more, we do this sort of auntie things, You two are supposed to be younger, right? So what are the young things that you youngsters are doing?
Maybe let Hui Ming take first.
Come three more pop.
No lah. I stay at home most of the time. I don't go out lah. So even if I exercise, I do at home. I do push up at home, pull up at home. So I eat less also. So now I lose some weight also.
Oh, so when you go back to office, I can see you're very trim. You wear your tight fitting t-shirt.
Yeah. Now become fitter.
Yeah.
So Eric, what about
Okay,
you?
so for me, right, actually I'm actually doing the same thing, so I try to stay at home during the breaker period. But then I realized that I can't keep staying at home like every day. Keep sitting at one places and seeing the same thing. It actually feels very. Sometimes I start to feel annoyed, and I don't know why I feel annoyed. I think sometimes I feel like I need to do something more than just sitting in front of my computer, waking up and sitting in front of my computer, staying at home. So what I did was I still follow the circuit breaker rules for sure. I went downstairs and I start to pick up jogging again to keep myself active lor. So I find that after I start to do some exercise outside of home, because when you do exercise you do it outside so when I do it outside of my house, right, running around my neighborhood, actually feels a lot better, and mentally all the clutters that build up and staying at home, it actually helps to clear up everything. So it makes me able to think clearer, and all those annoyance that build up and the frustrations staying at home after a run, right, it follows a run and it got run off lah. So I think that's what I did lah. So for traveling wise, I'm still looking to travel, to be honest. I still feel that now I think it's a bit we have to follow the rules, and even after that, if I get to travel, I still feel that the best way to travel is to find out which place is safe. If you know that this place, certain areas has a lot, it's not the infection rate is high, then maybe we should avoid that area. So for me, if I have to travel after COVID-19 and then post recovery, right, what I would like to go to is to just maybe take our WTS travel bus. I'm seriously saying about like going overland, like going to Malaysia, if Malaysia open up, whichever place.
Which part of Malaysia?
If
Cameron Islands?
if I'm gonna take a bus, right, I want to go to the place I really like is recently I went to Genting a few times. So I think that place right now is very different than the usual Genting. In the past, when I went to Genting, when I was a kid. So when I went to Genting, right, my childhood memory was it wasn't that amazing and fun, because it was mainly there was still a outdoor theme park. But then I didn't spend much time there. So Genting to me was not that fun. So but then recently I went to Genting again. And then I realized that that place is really different right now. The food that they bring in, they are all it's very nice there. And then the whole building has been refurbished inside out. So and then the hotel room itself is very clean and nice. So it comes to my mind that I think actually Genting is quite interesting to go to there. And now I got some spending ability as well. They do have a premium outlet there. So I go there as well to Genting sometimes I go there for shopping. And then secondly is the food now at Genting is damn good, seriously. Burger and lobsters, they got lots of ramen. They got some Taiwanese beef noodle there. Oh, it's really very nice there right now. That's what I think. And they got this open space bar where you can just sit down and drink, and you can feel the cool air from Genting. So I think that's pretty good as well. So that's what I would do lah. In terms of right now post COVID and then traveling wise, that's what I would like to go to. Yeah.
Has Violet been to Genting recent years?
No, not in recent years. But I'm very impressed by his selling of genting. So sorry, I'm like, grow up in Malaysia, so genting. so I'm like, wow, like as he went on, I'm like, I should make
Which
a
part of
trip
Malaysia
there
was
soon.
No, actually, I'm not selling genting. No.
From
I'm
KL.
really telling you my experience. Hey, guys, I'm not selling
I know,
genting.
but you have no, but you have shared it so well, right? I'm like, wow, I didn't know like Genting has changed so much. It's like amazing. I mean, of course, like being from KL, like we go to Genting quite often, like even as like teenagers growing up, like just hanging out with friends, we'll just drive up because it's not that far. Yeah, but wow, it sounds like it's completely different. Like and I agree with you. It's like just a short drive away. And I always remember like Genting, it's just very nice. Like it's like cool, cold, but not too cold. Is very nice. Actually, the other one that Choon Ling was saying just now, like I really like Cameron Highlands as well. Like I think Cameron Highlands have this charm about it. Like the tea plantations, like the black and white houses, like the strawberry farm. Yeah. So actually, there are a lot of awesome places in Malaysia to visit.
Yes. So traveling wise, I think we try to look forward to traveling, and once everything cool down, you guys can take our advice, or you all can choose where you want to go to based on where you want to go to. So this is just what we think where we want to go to after post COVID, and what is some of the precaution that we are taking as well lah. So we actually run out of time a lot already. Like not supposed to be so long, but before that maybe we let's
I want to ask one
Yes,
last question
yes.
to Eric. How has COVID changed your dating patterns?
Okay, so dating wise,
So you are always running into your girlfriends coincidentally in supermarket?
no, because for me it's a bit special. So my relationship with my girlfriend, we are having a long distance one. So we don't meet that often. So we usually do a lot of Skype call, messenger, video calls. That's how we maintain our relationships. We talk a lot. Running into the supermarket, maybe that does not apply to me. Maybe we can ask Hui Ming how he go to the supermarket with his wife.
No lah, she go alone, I stay at home.
Yeah, so he's a very he's an advocate of safe distancing, and
Yeah,
but
one person go.
yeah, that's all lor. So that's what I'm doing lah. For and one thing before we end this, right? Let's ask everyone. Let's ask Violet and Choon Ling. Do you have any shout out? Maybe we start with Violet.
Shout out. I think like I've already shared about what I do, and also like if you are interested to like look for the right one, or like you want to look for date coaching, definitely you can come look for us. But I also want to shout out also on a new series that I've started doing. So during this circuit breaker, I've started a podcast series called Lunch Date with Violet. So you can actually catch it on my Facebook page. So just go to Violet Lim page. You can see all the upcoming series coming up. So it's very fun. Basically, I'm like interviewing like 40 friends, and just finding out about what they have been up to, and also sharing like interesting knowledge with my viewers.
I actually listened to Violet podcast on relationships and some of the things that about dating. I think it's pretty interesting, and it's not just about advices. I think in the podcast I hear a lot of communications, how to connect with each other. I think that's very important for a lot of couples and people that might become couples or singles. Do check out Violet's Facebook page, her podcast. I will show it in the screen somewhere here, or I will link it to our description up there later. You will be able to see, and do follow her, and maybe you can benefit something out of it. I mean, it's just a like only. It's very easy to do it. Yeah.
I think it's not only for men, for singles, because I've listened to some of the tips that she gave during the radio show and things like that. It's also applicable for couples who are now stranded together in one whole household for 24 hours for 2 whole months. So I think it's also this is one of their biggest marriage challenges these days they are facing. So COVID actually is either you bond them closer, or you actually just rip them apart, right? So I think listening to some of the tips may actually help you to overcome all this, and hopefully after post-COVID, the marriage is still there and stronger. That's what I thought too. It's not only meant for singles.
So then, Choon Ling, do you have any shout out for yourself as well?
I think I don't have much shout out. I think what I like about Violet from this whole conversation and what I've known her about, I think is this positivism that she has. And everything she do, she's always smiling. Even she get COVID, she still can be writing about it. And then she always posing smiling pictures in the hospital. So I think it's the positive attitude that I'm really think that we should have in this point of time and going forward. I think COVID, I think a lot of us are also suffering anxiety, depression due to the economic impact on us. So I think we all have to stand up with more positivism to help us overcome this, and I hope that the good days are coming soon.
Also want to just thank you guys. I think it's really awesome that you all are taking the lead to come up with this podcast. Because now people are staying at home. That they want to learn new things, and I think it's really awesome that you all come up with this podcast and to really give out more positive energy out there and just cheer your customers up. I think it's really awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you. And okay, so before we close, right, I'd like to thank our guests, Violet and Choon Ling, for coming on to our podcast, our second podcast episode. So right now, right, if you all want to follow us, you can follow us on Facebook. You're already on Facebook. We are also on YouTube. You can subscribe to our YouTube. It's youtube.com/WTS Travel YouTube. I will link you all the link there. And if you all want to find out some of our travel packages, upcoming one, and what can you look forward to, you can go to our website at www.wtstravel.com.sg, and we are also at Instagram at WTS Travel SG, right? I will link it there.
Yeah.
Then if you want to just listen to our podcast, we are also on Spotify podcast. We are also on Google Podcast. You can listen to us on the go when you go to work. If you miss out on the first episode and you can't find it, just go to Spotify, search for WTS Travel. You'll be able to find our first episode podcast. This episode, after we uploaded it, right, you'll be able to hear it from at Spotify as well and from Google Podcast. So, and if you would like to have more information about us, just follow us as our EDM. We have EDM, WTS Travel. EDM. I will link the link to sign up there, and we are in Telegram right now, so we share a lot of travel tips and updates on what is happening to and deals on our Telegram. So you can sign up to our Telegram as well. So hopefully you join us, and hopefully everyone stay positive, stay healthy, and then look forward to when the circuit breaker ends. We can travel. Hope everyone is ready to travel. When everything's blow past and get back into traveling, have fun, really enjoy yourself and get back to the norms. That's what I wish for lah. So anything else you all want to say before we end this?
No, thanks Eric. Thanks Hui Min, of course.
Yeah, thank you Eric. Thank you guys. It's been awesome.
Okay guys, thanks for joining us this time, and see you on the next episode. Bye.
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 Bye.